Coach, if I would have told you that the guy who didn't make it at Ole Miss would have a Heisman Trophy winner, would be beloved in this state, would be playing for a chance to get to a national championship. If I told you those things several years ago, what would you have said?
You know, they seem like a far reach, no question. A lot of things have to fall into place for that to happen.
What had to fall in place for you?
I think timing, obviously. I think God's plans. I think coming home was the year I took off was very beneficial to me. I had to spend it with my kids. I got a chance to come to LSU as an assistant and prove myself again. And I just think the opening came at the right time, and I got an opportunity to prove myself. And they believed in me, and I thank those guys that hired me for believing in me in the state of Louisiana. This is a great place to coach. What a wonderful opportunity.
How would you describe yourself?
You know, hardworking, family man. I love my wife and my kids. Love my players. I think I'm a player's coach. Love the state of Louisiana. I'll do anything for it.
It's taken a while for people to love you back in a way. What do you think changed?
You know, I think it's a process. And like my dad says, time heals everything. I think that if you prove yourself day in and day out, eventually people see who you are.
You grew up in what town?
LaRose, Louisiana.
What do you have in your office that they didn't have in LaRose?
A lot of space. No, I have a nice patio out there, a view to Tiger Stadium, 3 TVs. We only had 1 TV in my house, so I have a bathroom in my office. We had 1 bathroom in our house. I grew up rich in that home. I grew up with some great parents. They gave me heart. They gave me courage. They gave me the ability to compete.
And you have an elevator.
And I have an elevator. I don't think we had an elevator in our hometown.
In the whole hometown?
In the whole hometown.
But you have one here.
I have one in my office.
Do you ever sit back and just go, what happened?
Every once in a while. In fact, I go out every morning and say my prayers and thank God. I thank Him for this opportunity. I know it's a wonderful opportunity to be the head coach at LSU.
What was it like to have your quarterback make you cry at a Heisman ceremony?
Well, it was emotional, and I didn't know what happened that way. And I was very happy for him. I was sitting by his dad, and then when I saw him choke up, talking about me and his relationship, you know, obviously that's an emotional time. I was so proud of him to see him up there with all the greats, and now he's one of them.
You didn't know he was going to say any of that?
I had no clue.
So as the words are spilling out of his mouth, what is going through your mind?
My heart started thumping. You know, I'm an emotional guy. I started thumping, and I was sitting on the side of his mom and dad. I could just feel the emotion.
What was a criticism? You're successful now. Everybody loves you. You know, everything's going great. But what was a criticism in years past that would just cut right through you?
The way I speak, not intelligent. Couldn't run a program, just a defensive line coach. They didn't really know me. I'm Cajun. I'm really proud of being a Cajun. I do have an accent. My grandparents spoke Cajun French, so I do have an accent, but I'm proud of my accent.
So what would you like to tell those people, if anything, about what you've achieved?
You know what? That doesn't matter to me. On a daily basis, I try to do the right thing and work as hard as I can. I'm in a great situation. I have some great coaches. I'm at a great school. I have great players. So the past doesn't bother me. I learn from my past. And whatever anybody said negatively about me, that doesn't bother me. I think it fuels me inside. It gives me internal motivation. And I turn it around to have success. So I thank them for giving me internal motivation.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, what drives you on a daily basis?
Well, you know, I always want to be successful. And I wanted to be the best. And just hard work. And my daddy told me, he don't care what I do, just be the best. And I promised my mother I'd get an education. And my education from Northwestern State University and my networking allowed me to be in coaching and something I love.
If you hadn't been a football coach, what do you think you'd be doing today?
I don't know. I really don't. Maybe running a health club or something like that. I have no clue.
Really?
No.
Never thought about it?
No, I always wanted to be a football coach, and I was going to be a football coach.
Come hell or high water.
Come hell or high water.
When Joe started talking about the poverty in his home state of Ohio, Southeast Ohio, and then to see the reaction from people.
Yeah.
More than $250,000 donated to that food pantry. What does that mean to you?
His leadership, Joe is a kind soul. He's very competitive on the field, but he has a big heart off the field. I think he has a large capacity to help people out in the position that he is, and he's going to do it.
What was it about him that made you go, you're my guy?
Right there. We had a 3-hour football meeting. There were 6 people in the room, including me, and Joe was the smartest guy in the room, hands down.
Including you?
Including me, and I liked it. He taught football, and I was just amazed about his knowledge of football and the way he can process and see things very quickly.
Did you wake up one day, Ed, and just say, I've got to change things?
Yes.
Seriously.
Yes.
Do you remember the day and what prompted you to do it?
Yeah, I'm driving home from Ole Miss. Got fired. I called my mentors. And obviously, when something goes wrong, it's easy to do that. But it's hard to look at that man in the mirror and change the man in the mirror. And so you got to write down the things that you have to change. And the things that you did wrong, you got to look at yourself, and I did. And it was a process. It took me a while, but the years I had off of being the head coach, I'd write down stuff. I'd follow other coaches. I'd listen to things. But the thing I came up with is that I'm going to treat all of my players just like I treat my sons, and they're going to know it. I'll treat all my coaches with the utmost respect in the world that I can. And those 2 things changed everything for me.
And when did you wake up here as head coach and say, I need to switch this offense?
When we didn't score a point against Alabama, Steve and I had a conversation after that we have to go through the spread. He and I have been pro-style guys all our life. We knew a little about the spread, but not enough to run it. Steve has been the most valuable player around here. He has been the general. He has been a champion. He loves LSU. He played here. He says, Coach, I'm in agreement. I said, if I bring somebody, will you listen? He said, for sure. And lo and behold, we got Joe Brady, and it changed everything. Excellent young coach. He and Steve have a tremendous relationship together. He looks up to Steve, and Steve and Joe are very close. And now we have the most dynamic offense in SEC history.
That was a pretty big move, pretty big decision. If it hadn't had worked, would we be sitting here right now?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think if we get Joe Brady, I don't think if we get Joe Burrow, I think things could have been different. I don't know. Things could have been different. They wouldn't be where we at today for sure.
And if you wouldn't have said, I want to switch this offense, right?
Right.
Yeah. So those are big decisions.
I always knew what the state of Louisiana wanted. I had a feel for LSU. I've always had a feel for LSU in my life. I knew what the state of Louisiana wanted. I knew what this football team needed. We can attract athletes from all over the state of Louisiana. We need to score points. We need to get a great quarterback. We need to get somebody to teach us how to do it. Those 2 things came together.
And 90 miles down the road in New Orleans, they're running that kind of offense, and everyone loves it.
Yes. When I left the Saints, I said, if I can ever have this offense, the keys to this offense, and God has provided for us. And Joe went down to Sean Payton, studied for 2 years, and is a heck of a football coach and a heck of a young man.
Finally, on Joe Burrow, the day that he leaves here, the day you shake his hand and say goodbye to him, what do you want to tell him?
Thank you. Thank you for what he's done. And now he's a Tiger for life. And he has changed the landscape of the offense in LSU history. One of the best players in the history of LSU to win the Heisman, him and Billy Cannon. Thank you for being the guy that he was, and come back.
Your favorite all-time Christmas present?
My favorite all-time Christmas present. I do believe that for me, Christmas is to see the joy in my kid's face and my wife's face. I actually don't want a lot for Christmas. I actually get a pack of underwear. And that's what I want for Christmas. And that's all I ask for.
You want a pack of underwear?
That's a pack of underwear is fine with me.
Boxers or briefs?
Briefs.
Okay, good. But you'd rather see the faces on your family.
I love it. I love giving presents. My wife does all the shopping. I pay the bills. Perfect. But I want them to get a lot. And we've had some great Christmases at home. Kelly's big on Christmas. They drop off pajamas the night before. We've had fun and looking at the reindeers and chasing it around. And I just had a blast with my kids. That's the funnest part for me.
This year, you're not going to be home for Christmas.
No, we're not going to be home for Christmas. We're going to celebrate Christmas at home before we leave. But we will have Christmas presents in Atlanta. But our focus is going to be on winning the game.
Tell me about the number 7 here. For people who aren't familiar with it, didn't live it, breathe it, what does it mean?
One of the best player, historic players. Look at the history. The Honey Badger, Patrick Peterson, Leonard Fournette. The best player wears number 7. Grant Delpit, the best players wear number 7.
Does it go beyond just the kind of player they are? Does it go to who that player is?
No question. About character, integrity, and grit. And we also have number 18 that goes for the player with most character and leadership and stuff like that. So those 2 numbers are very prestigious at LSU.
As just sort of fast forward to the game a little bit, you guys are well aware of what Jalen Hurts can do. Is there an advantage having seen him play at Alabama, gone against him, and now you see him again, even though it's a different program?
Yeah, I think it's familiar, but you know what? It makes us respect him more. He has beat us with his feet, especially in the 10-0 game. He made 2 tremendous plays that won the football game, so he's a gamer. He's tough to tackle. We have a lot of respect for him.
When you break down film of that guy, what sticks out to you?
His physicality, his ability to make you miss, his speed.
He has that experience too.
Yes, no question.
Does that play a part in a game like
Oh,
this?
for sure. Yeah, he's been there before. He's not going to panic. Just like they were in the championship game, they were down. He brought them back. He's won the big game before. And I think he's going to be confident. I mean, he's beaten LSU twice. He knows our players. Our players know him.
How good or how much better can this offense get, do you think?
I do believe that we're operating at a high ceiling right now. And I do believe we will continue to be more efficient. Obviously, in our run game, we haven't put in all the runs that we want to run yet. I think we can improve there. I think we have thrown the ball to the tight end. We can get the tight end more. We have some excellent young tight ends coming in with some dominant football players, those kind of things.
Everyone's talking about your offense. In the past, they always talked about your defense. Are you happy with the way your defense is starting to sort of peak a little bit?
Very happy, very happy. And Coach Aranda challenged those guys after Ole Miss, and they answered the bell in the Texas A&M game. I thought they played very well. They played very well against Georgia. I do believe we're playing our best football right now.
Was there a point during the offseason that you thought, you know what, we've got a chance to be something?
You know, before the spring game, we had our final scrimmage, and our offense completed 80% of their passes. It's the first time I'd ever seen that against our defense. And I saw our receivers beat some very good corners, and I saw Joe pinpoint some balls, throw it in some tight areas, very accurate. I saw offensive line gelling together. I really felt that we could have a good team.
And was there a game this season where you said, all right, fellas, we got something here?
Texas game, 3rd and 17, and Joe makes the big play. I said, we got something here. We got a chance.
You knew it then?
I knew it then.
There are defining moments during the course of a season. That was one of them?
That was one of them, yes. Confident, ready to go on the road. Great play. Great play by our quarterback. Great play by our skill guys. Outstanding job offensive line. I knew we could do it.
Ed, can you see, I mean, you've gone against so many coaches during your career, but could you see defensive coaches not quite sure how to handle you guys because they were used to the other LSU?
You know, what we're seeing during the game is a new defense. I'm not saying all, but most of the guys won't run the defense that we've been practicing against. So it takes us a little while to adjust to what they may be doing, 7 DBs, whatever it may be. But we have a great staff, so we're able to make adjustments. Auburn did a great job. They played 7 DBs. Georgia played something very similar. So it took us a little while because we were prepared for something, and they gave us a different look. So it took us a little while to get going, but once we get going, we figure it out.
and they have to prepare for you now.
That's right.
I want to ask you a little bit about Derek Stingley.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the first time you ever saw him?
Yeah. He was committed to us. He'd come to camp. He was committed to us as a young player, very dominant. I really have a great relationship with his father. His father's a football coach, a great man. He has taught Derek very well. Derek is one of the best human beings I ever met. He won't say a word. He works hard. You come here on Saturday and Sunday in the spring, his daddy's coaching him. They're working out. A tireless worker, a very humble young man. But his ability to get the football and go get it is the best I've ever seen.
You're a defensive guy, so you can really appreciate what he does. Mm-hmm. We throw the word around prodigy all the time. In this case, does it fit?
Yeah, I think so. No question.
What is it about him that separates him from other people?
His size and his skills, his ability to process, ability to see the football, turn around at the right time, catch the football, and make a play. He is actually one of the best offensive players that we ever recruited also.
Did you think about putting him on offense this year?
Well, I told his father he's not going to play offense, and his father wanted him just to play defense, so that's what we're doing. The offensive coach is always trying to recruit him, but they can't have him.
Next year?
Nope.
That's it. He's always going to stand defense.
Well, we'll see. We'll see after 2 years.
You just saw a guy win a Heisman Trophy. Quarterback position, admittedly, a lot easier to win it from that spot. Could you see a point where Derek could challenge for Heisman?
I would hope so. I would think so. And I think for him to do that, his punt returns have to increase. We have to do a better job of giving him some space. I think that just sort of like Charles Woodson was, I think that maybe in 3 years, not this year, but next year, maybe he plays a little bit offense and show his skills there. And perhaps he can be a Heisman Trophy winner.
You're of an age that you probably remember his grandfather, Darryl Stingley.
Yep.
What do you remember about what happened to him?
Yeah, I remember it vaguely, but obviously a tragedy, something that you never want to see on the football field.
Have you ever talked to Derek about his grandfather?
No, never mentioned. I've never talked to him about it, and I'm sure his father has, and they handled that, but it has never come up in a conversation.
You said he's not a vocal person. Mm-hmm. How would you describe his personality then?
I'm going to show you. I'm going to compete. Low key, very humble. He'll sit in back of the room, won't say a word. But when that ball is snapped, there's nothing better.
He came here during your practices for the Fiesta Bowl a year ago.
Yes, sir.
What did he look like?
He made an interception. We put him in with the first team. We were very low in corners. He made an interception his first day against our first team. And that's usually what great players do. I mean, they show out right away. Derek would have started for us if the NCAA would allow it, which is not, they didn't, so we couldn't do it. He'd have started for us in the bowl game.
Having just come from high school?
Right out of high school. He'd have started for us, no question. And played very well.
Players know good players. Mm-hmm. Did players ever come to you and say, Coach, whoa, that kid?
They all do. Wow, they all do. When he makes plays, everybody shake their head. Wow, we got us one, Coach. Our guys love great players. When Joe makes plays, man, when Clyde makes those plays, when the receivers make those catches, when Kellerman makes a sack, when Grant, our guys love being around great players. We have a saying, big plays fuel emotion. We love big plays around here. It gets us all fired up.
I wanted to ask you a little bit about social media. Mm-hmm. Are you on it?
No. I have some people that run it for me now, and they run the Twitter machine for me. They do all that stuff, and I do read the recruiting. I read what's going on in the recruiting world, all the rest of the stuff. I let it go. Block out the noise.
So you don't see tweets from people?
No.
No one, Coach, this guy, you should see what he just said about you.
No, no, I don't worry about that.
What is your view on social media with your players?
You know, they're all on it. It's going to happen. When we get in the meeting, they'll say, guys, turn off your cell phones. And that's hard for them. No way I can tell them don't bring their cell phone in because it seems like it's part of their hand. It's the way of the world today. But we block out the noise pretty good. When we get in the meeting room, we don't talk about individuals. We don't talk about individual achievements. We always talk about the team, what the team does well, and what the team needs to do better. One team, one heartbeat. Everybody has the same role. So it seems like when they walk in this building, they're able to block out all the noise that's out there. Do they read it? Sure they do. Sure they do. But I think when they come in here, everything calms down a little bit and we focus in on the task at hand.
What's the good thing about social media and the bad thing?
I think accessibility is, in recruiting has made the country smaller. All the recruits know where everybody's going. We can contact people a lot faster and they can contact us. So we feel like if we're recruiting a young man in California or New York or wherever, Idaho, that we're in touch with them. We feel like they know us, FaceTime, we know them. So it's made the world a little smaller.
Sometimes the dangers of it, and you had to deal with this after the Bama game with the video leaking out. Mm-hmm. What do you tell your team after an incident like that?
You know, I brought the young man in. He made an innocent mistake. Those are private moments. You know, those are emotional moments. You're speaking to your team, just like speaking to your family at the dinner table. And stuff needs to stay in the family. So I wasn't mad at him. He made a mistake, and we moved on.
And do you have an actual Twitter handle, like a name?
Well, I guess I do, but my special assistant, Derek Panansky, runs it for me, so I guess I have all that. I don't know.
Do you just like tell him, hey, let's do something about kind of like this, and then he takes it from there for you?
You know, the tweets that I send out are when we get in a commitment, and he tweets out, "Hold that tiger." So if you look at tweets from me, most of the time it's "Hold that tiger." That means we're getting a commitment, and I rarely tweet anything else out. Maybe I may send a picture of my family for Christmas, wishing everybody Merry Christmas. That's the extent of it.
When you were at Ole Miss, when you finished an interview, did you say, "Go Ole Miss"?
No.
So what was the genesis, the birth of Go Tigers?
I think it was in my heart. It was just in my heart to say that. Emotional, maybe a fan growing up. Go Tigers. Always heard Go Tigers. And it just caught on. It was something that just caught on.
And have you gotten a text, a phone call, a letter, an email from someone this season that will forever live with you?
You know, some very kind things have been said about me. And I'm very appreciative of that. But I have to block out the noise. Because it's what you did for me yesterday in this society, and we have to win here at LSU. So my focus has always been on the task at hand on a daily basis. I think maybe one day when I retire, I may read all that stuff, but it's not time to read it now. And I learned that from Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll was a mentor of mine. He goes, "Eddie, don't read it." You know, back then everybody used to read a newspaper. Don't read that newspaper, Eddie, because when you win, it'll make you too high. When you lose, it'll make you too low. And he never, for the years I worked with him, I never saw Coach Carroll read anything. He just worked hard, had some enthusiasm, and I try to follow the same path.
You must have a stack, though, of letters and stuff on your desk from folks after the season you had.
Yes, sir. My secretary handles all that. I really, right now, don't look at them.
What's up? Thank you so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. Don't forget to download the ESPN app, and if you want more premium content, which you do, make sure that you subscribe to ESPN+. See you soon.